So every year around this time, I'm reminded of being in Philadelphia while they're having the World Series and the Eastern State Penitentiary walkthrough. On this particular year, we got a couple of friends together and took a spontaneous trip to Philly. Yeah, and we always do like World Series stuff together, like the same time of the year, because the World Series is always like around this time. Um,
Yeah.
we went to this place in Philadelphia called Eastern State Penitentiary. Have you ever
Okay.
been
Okay.
there?
Yeah. I've been there, of course.
Did you do the Halloween walkthrough?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, so yeah, we went to that in 2000 and we're going through and we're about halfway through and I get up to some monster and he's drinking a beer. And I'm like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, the Phillies just won the World Series." He's like, "I don't care about this job anymore." This job. Phillies just won the World Series. We champions, baby. So we keep going through, and all the rest of the monsters in there are just drinking beers and celebrating. We get outside of the penitentiary, and the whole city is literally on fire.
We lit, we lit, we lit, we lit, yeah. We lit, we lit, we lit, we lit, yeah.
Like,
We.
people were lighting anything, bushes. There was a guy dragging a tree, and so there was just people everywhere. You really couldn't move. And then way off in the far distance, I could see a SWAT team, maybe about 100 police just trying to make their way through the crowd to get people to disperse. And there's a couple on horses too. And like I was sitting there watching, like I didn't realize that traffic lights could come down so easy. Like 4 or 5 people would get together and push in sync, and bam, the whole thing would fall in like 30 seconds. So we're sitting there, and this guy in front of us, he's got something pretty big in his hands, and we didn't know what it was. And he started getting people to move from around him. And we saw it. It was actually a firework, but this wasn't just like a for fun firework. This was like a Class B 4th of July firework. He lights it, starts running, and maybe about like 7 seconds later, the thing goes off. We were basically deaf for the next 15 seconds. It flies up, hits the skyscraper,
Oh my
turns
God.
into a heart after it hits the skyscraper.
That's intense.
Then we're looking at the building and we start seeing these blue lights on the first floor. These blue lights going from window to window. Then the blue lights start on the second floor. Then the third floor. And this is like a 40-story building. And so we're sitting there like I'm like, what are these blue lights? And there's a girl probably like 4 feet away from us, and she's like, that's the building's fire alarm system going
Oh
off.
my God. You, they're crazy.
It was, and so I've always, every World Series, I think about that moment. Well, and this year especially, like, seeing all the people post about going to Eastern State Penitentiary as well at that time. But when I tell people that story, I've always wished that I could like give them that moment because they always hear it and they don't believe it. And then this year, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I was there when they were celebrating, and somebody did the same exact thing, and I got it on 360.
Oh,
So
nice.
it wasn't the firework
Wait,
didn't
wait,
turn
wait,
into a
wait.
heart, but
I saw that. You emailed it to me, or I saw it somehow where you had the 360 and you were going through a parade, and that's what
Yeah.
Philly. Yes.
We lit, we lit.